Okay, so we're continuing our football club history series. We're looking at Hull City A.F.C. Now, the A in the A.F.C. is crucially important, and I'll get to that in a minute. Their nickname is the Tigers. They're founded in 1904. That is a late foundation date for a football club, quite honestly. Their current stadium is the MKM Stadium, 25,586 capacity. They moved to that stadium, which was formerly known as the KC Stadium, in 2002. The club itself joined the Football League in 1906. They've had 4 home grounds. Their first home ground was the Boulevard. They played there between 1904 and 1905. The year they joined the Football League, they have a custom-built stadium for their own, Annalby Road. They were there from 1906 till 1946. Damaged during World War II from the Luftwaffe bombing raids meant it was uneconomical to repair. They moved to Booth Ferry Park in 1946, where they would remain till 2002, before moving to the now named MKM Stadium. Now, Booth Ferry Park was also quite famous for having a quick save and an Iceland supermarket in it at points on its site to earn revenue for the club, because the club had some bad financial issues. Right, now back to the name. Now, Hull is famous for 2 other sports teams. Hull Kingston Rovers, who play rugby league, and Hull F.C., who play rugby league, even though their name suggests they should be a football club. And this is where the association in Hull City's A bit comes in, because Hull City are a football club, soccer club to North Americans, and Hull FC are a rugby league club. Not a football club. It's rugby league. And yes, I'm going to say this is going to get quite confusing now. Basically, rugby is a form of football. It has the same origin story, same origins of the sport. Ironically, rugby, before it split into rugby league and rugby union, their rules were written down first. Then the split happens, but the Football League has now been established, and the FA have now written down their rule book. Rugby League's rules weren't really written down until the 1890s. So that's a little bit of confusion cleared up. Now, yes, Hull FC ground share with Hull City A.F.C. in the MKM Stadium. Hull Kingston Rovers have their own stadium. Hull is predominantly a rugby league city. Football is the secondary sport. Hull City, therefore, are the only professional football club, soccer club in the city, but rugby league is the dominant sport, which probably explains why they've had A, lack of success, B, their late foundation date, and C, their very few appearances in the top flight. Because rugby league is the more dominant sport, more fans gravitate towards that. More local youth, if they're athletic enough and skilled enough, will probably gravitate more to rugby league. Their rugby league clubs are very, very successful historically. The football club, not so much. So there we go. That's why we cleared up the confusion of the name. There's going to be some people go, why is it not Hull City FC? Because Hull FC Rugby Club technically has a trademark on the FC bit of the name. It's just weird. Anyway, moving on. So let's have a look at some of the club records before we get really lost in rugby league and football league and all sorts. Record win in the old 3rd Division North. 11-1 versus Carlisle United on the 14th of January 1939. So the year the Second World War starts, Carlisle United wished it started a year earlier because they get battered 11-1. Their record top flight win was against Fulham, 6-0, 28th of December 2013. So Hull City did have actually a pretty decent side back in the early 2010s. They did make a FA Cup final that same season. The appearance record is held by Andy Davidson at 579 matches. Second place on the appearance record is Gareth Roberts with 487. No other player comes close to those two. Goals, Chris Chitton has 222 in all competitions. That breaks down as 193 in the Football League, 16 in the FA Cup, and 10 in the League Cup. All 3 of those are club records. Honours, as I say, Hull City have never won a major trophy or a minor trophy. They've been runners-up twice, once in the FA Cup, once in the Football League trophy, so they've never actually won any major silverware. They were runners-up in the FA Cup in the 2013-2014 season, and the Football League trophy, they were runners-up in the 83-84 season. So again, Rugby League, more successful in the city. Kingston Rovers and Hull FC, lots of silverware between them. The football side of things, Hull City AFC, not very successful, and there's your reason why Rugby League dominates in the city. Their rivals, there's quite a few rivals here. Grimsby Town and Scunthorpe United at the Humber estuary. Grimsby and Scunthorpe are the other side of the Humber, even though they're in Lincolnshire. Hull traditionally in Yorkshire, but there is a bit of a rivalry there geographically between Grimsby, Scunthorpe and Hull. Leeds United, because why not? It's Leeds United. Everyone has a rivalry with Leeds United. Just is the case. Sheffield United, that goes back to a playoff race that they had. It went down to goal difference, and there's a bit of a rivalry that dates back 40 years there. Lincoln City as well. Again, another club from Lincolnshire, because Yorkshire's that big. Lincoln City are the rivals from their lower league days, and York City, lower league rivals back in the day, who are now currently in the non-league. So there we go. There's a brief history of Hull City A.F.C. I could have mentioned the attempted name change by the ownership, which met with legal challenges, and eventually, after several years of basically trying to tell the fan base they're wrong, the fans were proven right in a fan vote of 70 to 30 percent of fans voted in favour of keeping the name. The owner, who I think is a moron, wanted to change the name from Hull City AFC to Hull Tigers because he, didn't want to listen to anyone, even though the FA told him to stop. He carried on for about 3-4 years. I could have gone into massive detail about that, but the controversy about the attempted name change, I'm thankful I didn't, because personally I think the owner's a wally. Most football owners are wallies, to be honest. It's almost as bad as the MK Dons, bleh. But yeah, that's my view on that. But there we go. There's a brief history of Hull City AFC. You just bang average football league club, really. Yes, they had some high points in the Premier League, making that FA Cup. Imagine if they'd won that FA Cup, how Arsenal's trajectory could have changed, how Hull's trajectory could have changed, because they were within a whisker of winning that FA Cup final. But they were 2-0 up at one point. They lost 3-2 in extra time. Aaron Ramsey with the winning goal. That was 9 years ago. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.